Hello guys, welcome all of you back with our database management system question set discussion series. Today we are going to discuss question set number 45. So let's get started. Here we have our description for question set number 45 and it says the principal of Ranabima School in Kandy intends to create a software to enter the information of teachers and students in that school. You are entrusted with the task of creating this software. Your team is tasked with developing the database of this software. Database development work is shared between you and everyone on the team. You are asked with storing student and teachers information. Creating the tables need to store the subjects that teachers teach and the subjects that student learns. Use the instruction below to create it. Here we have our first question. It says, all the teachers in the school teach one subject or several subjects. Create a table called teacher has subject to store information on all the subjects that teachers teach. The initial stage of this software, the principal decided to store the details of the teachers who teach only the main subject of grade 9. Follow the instruction below to create this table. Use DDL Query to create this table. So they have given us the instructions. The table name is teacher has subject and there are two column names and they have given us the necessary data types, data lengths, permissions, foreign key tables. When we create a DDL query for that, first we need to define the database using use keyword. After that we can insert the create DDL query. In here we have said create table if not exist teacher has subject. So it's going to create a table called teacher has subject if it's not exist within our database. And then we need to give the column names. First column is subject ID column and its data type is int and it should be not null. After that teacher's ID column. Then we need to insert the foreign key. First we have insert the first foreign key and within this column names subject ID is the primary key of subject table. So the foreign key ID is subject ID column in here. And then we need to insert the reference keyword and then we need to mention which table has this foreign key column. So in this case subject table has subject ID column. After that we can insert our next foreign key and in here we have said foreign key in this table is teacher ID column. So this column is the foreign key and its reference to this tables this column. So teachers table teachers ID column is the reference table and reference column. So let's go and create this table. After inserting the query we can click on this run button and it's going to create our new table as teacher has subject. To see that table first we have to refresh our database, then we can open our database. Within our database here we have our teachers has subject table. When we open that table, as you can see we have our column names, data types and lengths, and these are also marked as foreign keys. So let's go back. Here we have our second question. It says it's necessary to add a column name ID to the table name teacher has subject, which is created to store all the subjects taught by teachers. The column you add is with the primary key and your team leader has said that it should be auto increment. It is mandatory. Name the DDL query required for that. Use that query to add the column to the teacher has subject table. In order to do this, first we need to define the database. After that we can use alter table query. When we change a table, when we change a table's name or table's column name, we can use this alter table query. So in here we have said alter table teacher has subject. So it's going to change this table and then we have said add column. So since we are going to add a new column, we need to use add column keywords and then we need to give the column name, data type and the necessary permissions. So in here we have said alter table teacher has subject add column ID and int primary key not null auto increment. So let's go and update our table. After inserting the query, so before that let's go and see our subject teacher subject table. As you can see, it does not contain an ID column. So when we run this query and we can refresh our database and double click to open our database, and let's go into teacher has subject table and let's open the table. As you can see, we have our newly added column as ID and its data type is int and it has been marked as the primary key and it's also auto increment. So let's go back. Here we have our third question. It says it is compulsory for all the students in grade 9 of school to learn all the major subjects. Create a table named student has subject to store that information. To do so, follow the instructions below. Use DDL Query to create this table, and they have given us the necessary instructions such as the table name, the column names, column data types, data lengths and the permissions. And also they have provided us the foreign key table names. So when we use a DDL query to create this, first we need to define the database. After that we can use create table if not exist query. So within this opening and closing bracket, we need to give the column names. First column name is subject ID. The second column name is student ID. So now we need to insert the foreign keys. We can insert the first foreign key as subject ID and its reference to subject tables subject ID column, and then we can insert the next foreign key and it's the student ID column. So here we have given the foreign key column name. After that we have used references keyword and then we have given its references to student tables student ID column. So let's go and create this in our database. After inserting the query, we can click on this run button. After executing the query, we can refresh our database and then we can open our database, and here we have our created table as student has subject. Let's open this. You can see it has the all column names, data types and the permissions, and they have been marked as foreign keys too. So let's go back. Here we have our fourth question. It says a student need to add a column name ID in the table name student has subject, which is created to store all the subjects they are learning. Your team leader says that the column you add must be a primary key and that column must be auto increment. Create the required DDL query. Add that column to the student has subject table using that query. First we need to define the database. After that we can use alter table query in order to add this new column into our table. So in here we have said alter table, then we have provided the table name. In this case the table name is student has subject, and then we have said add column. So since we are going to add the new column, we need to use add column, and then we have provided the new column name, the data type for that column and the permission for that column. So let's go and create this table in our database. After inserting the query, we can click on run button. After that we have to refresh our database, and let's open our database and let's go into student has subject table. And when we go into table, as you can see here, we have our new column as ID and the data type is int, and it's also the primary key of this table, and it also has been marked as the auto increment column. So let's go back. So guys, that's all for today. Thanks all of you for joining with us. In our next video, let's discuss question set number 46. Until then, have a nice day. Thank you.